The biggest concern with the Vancouver Canucks at the moment is not the wild card. It's not what they're going to do at the 2025 NHL trade deadline. It's not whether or not they're going to trade Elias Pettersson. It's not whether or not they're going to trade Brock Besser. It's not the fact that they're still technically in a wildcard spot right now. The Vancouver Canucks have just wrapped up their road trip against the Seattle Kraken, just down Highway 99 in the I-5, baby. And they absolutely blew it. Vancouver had the lead in the first period. Vancouver had momentum in the first period. Vancouver had the talent in the first period. They were up 2-1. But after taking a 2-1 lead, after taking a 3-2 lead, the Seattle Kraken just decided to win. You know, the biggest problem with the Vancouver Canucks doesn't have to do with what we are seeing in the standings or with the trades or anything. It's the fact that arguably the best player in franchise history, there's no way he's gonna want to stick around for this crap. Ladies and gentlemen, Quinn Hughes, the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, the guy who is the engine that runs this team, the straw that stirs the drink, the guy who is realistically one of the only effective difference makers, quote unquote, on this team. And I am saying that on a night where the Vancouver Canucks scored a really nice shorthanded goal. They had 3 in this one. They were up 3-2. But guess what? Seattle wins 6-3. Vancouver drops yet another 2 points on this road trip, and miraculously, somehow, because the Calgary Flames forgot how to score goals in their own games, thank you Tampa, thank you Florida, the Calgary Flames got shut out twice in a row in Florida. Their road trip's not going all too hot either. So the Vancouver Canucks, with the loss today, and with the loss against Vegas, and with the loss against Utah, the win against LA, but then the loss against Anaheim, they're still in a gosh darn playoff spot. And I don't know if I am upset about that. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think a part of me is just kind of disconnected, you know? Because we see the playoff race, we see the wild card, we see how things are going in the Eastern Conference. Hey, things are really tight over there. But in the West, it's like, hey, all these teams in the wild card, they stink. Vancouver's 1-4 in this road trip against some Western teams that they should be able to compete with and potentially beat. They only beat one. Calgary stinking over there in Florida, so they're not getting any points either. Like, the way the Vancouver Canucks are playing, this is not playoff hockey. And now, with Quinn Hughes potentially getting hurt again, he didn't play the last 10 minutes of the third period. It's almost like Rick Tocchet and the team gave up. They knew, okay, by the time the third period had reached the halfway point, it was 5-3 Seattle, and there was no point in tossing Quinn Hughes out there. Just don't get him hurt anymore. I mean, a lot of the goals, too, that were scored, I feel like Seattle used the Artur Shilov's playbook. And I know it wasn't Shilov's in net, it was Kevin Lankinen, but the way Lankinen let in 5 goals on 23 shots against, I'm still not going to go out there and say that this game was his fault, because a lot of these shots that went in, tips out in front, long drives, screened plays, and there were even more opportunities that Seattle had in this hockey game where the Kraken are coming down in a rush. They've got a fast break, and then the guy just takes the shot in Lankinen and swallows the puck up hole. He puts it into his crest, and he bundles up, freezes the play. How many times did Kevin Lankinen get forced to make that save? He was making that save all night. The only ones that he didn't make were the 2-on-1s and the long drives and the tips and stuff like that. So I'm not going to say that Kevin Lankinen was a problem in this one. I'm going to say that the Vancouver Canucks didn't give him much support outside of that. Like, the goals in the second period. I know one of them was off a face-off and everything, but it was still a long drive and a tip. I mean, a lot of these plays, man, Vancouver just not being there to support their goaltender, to clear it, and to actually traverse the ice properly. I mean, sure, they scored their own goals. First goal of the game, it wasn't a Canuck goal, it was Andre Burakovsky on the 2-on-1, but first goal of the game scored by Vancouver. Kiefer Sherwood, really good forecheck to force Adam Larsson to feed the puck back over to Vince Dunn. Dunn throws it up the middle, and it's Pius Suter to Shooter, who is right there in the slot to fire it by the goalie Joey Daccord. And then 5 minutes later, making it 2-1, it's Filip. Really nice play by Tyler Myers to get the puck to the goal. It's on the tape of Chytil, and he's right there in front to bury it by Chytil from Myers and Marcus Pettersson. What a goal stat line right there. That was 2-1. The Kraken then made it 2-2, a tip-in goal, Bjorkstrand, who would have thought. And then Drew O'Connor and Dakota Joshua on the short-handed 2-on-1 rush are able to get a really nice feed going. O'Connor goes across to Dakota. He comes in on the backhand and he buries it by the goaltender. That's all she wrote for Vancouver. That's it. The Seattle Kraken were starting to get more saves. I mean, the thing is, if you go over to Money Puck and the deserve to win-o-meter, they'll say that Vancouver actually had like a really good chance of winning this game, 75-something%. And it's kind of weird because it's like, yeah, oh, they're going out there getting more expected goals and high-danger chances, but guess what? Quinn Hughes wasn't playing. Quinn Hughes was out after, like, the halfway mark of the third. He's hurt, maybe. I mean, there's no reason for the team not to play him. Just want to keep him off and rest his body, right? So I'm thinking about this, and I'm seeing the results. I'm seeing Vancouver, and I'm seeing them lose. And I'm starting to think, hey, so Brock Besser's probably on his way out, right? There's no way you can watch that and be like, yeah, that's the guy that we want to keep around as a rental because he's a goal scorer who doesn't score goals as much as he could. And I think about Elias Pettersson, and Friedman said during the Saturday headlines earlier in the afternoon, Pettersson's probably not going to get traded. Okay. Really? Okay. And I see this team on paper. I see the team in the way it's constructed, the lack of center depth compared to 2 years ago. Lindholm, Miller, Pettersson, replace Lindholm with Bo Horvat. I mean, you think about what Miller's doing in New York now, and you look at this team and you say, hey, Quinn Hughes is probably going to... Like, I don't know about you, but Quinn Hughes, this doesn't really seem like a ship that is headed for bigger and greater things. Quinn Hughes is hurt again, or maybe he is, maybe he isn't, who knows, but he did take the rest of the game off, and his contract is expiring in a few years. I know that Brock Besser is a loyal Canuck, and in his heart, in his mind, he wants to stay in Vancouver, but not everybody's going to be like that. If anybody's looking at Quinn Hughes, the best gosh darn defenseman on the planet, and saying, yeah, he's just going to pull the Besser. He wants to stay here, right? He wants to be here. No, you can't say that. You can't know that. There's no way Quinn Hughes is going to want to stick around in this Vancouver system where he is literally like the most competitive and best player on the team. We know Brock Besser is a little bit of a softie, and we know that he's got that connection to Vancouver. Him wanting to be a Canuck, that's fine. I don't know if he will be a Canuck after tonight, or after tomorrow night, or whatever. Whenever it was, Jason Bruff said the Canucks are potentially going to do something. But Brock wants to stay here, great. You cannot guarantee the same thing with Hughes. He's got two brothers in New Jersey that are going to be wanting to sign him as soon as they can, and he's going to have a lot of success playing with those guys, success that he wouldn't be having playing with Elias Pettersson and Tyler Myers in 2026, 2027, and 2028. The Vancouver Canucks are in a shambolic disaster right now, and they're still in the playoffs somehow. Quinn Hughes, I don't know. Quinn Hughes doesn't deserve this. He doesn't. He doesn't deserve this team in front of him. He deserves to be playing with players that can actually convert and that can actually do consistent things and players that are able to score like they were last year. But, yeah, the PDO bender going brrr, that is not what we are seeing in 2024-2025. The Vancouver Canucks lose to the Seattle Kraken 6-3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about this game, about the Canucks, about Quinn Hughes, and everything else. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.